Welcome to Cool Cars, Interesting People. Today it's Scott Crighton, entrepreneur. He's a pub owner. He also continues the tradition of owning a brewery in Lethbridge. Today we come to you from Lethbridge Dodge, Northside Lethbridge Dodge. Neil G is here to talk about, oh yes, a 2017 Jeep. Talk about it.
Yeah, 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit. Capability, comfort, design, the fit and finish is beautiful. It rivals any of the higher end BMW or Mercedes SUVs without the price of them.
Yeah.
So you save some money. All the safety features, ready brake alert, so if somebody jams or brakes on ahead of you, it'll start stopping for you, blind spot monitoring. You can raise or lower it with the air ride, so you can let grandma in, or you can raise it up out of the snow into off-road mode. Just if there's a snowstorm, you can get that clearance. And there's tons of features, and the fit and finish is beautiful.
I mean, the technology all these days is just unbelievable, and this is really matching that, isn't it?
Crazy. The technology is crazy. 21 years ago when I started, I was pointing out power mirrors. Now it's how to download SD cards and USB ports, and so yeah, it's come a long way. You can get a V6 engine with it with 290 horsepower, 260 pound-foot torque. You can go with the traditional Hemi, which shuts down to a 4-cylinder to save you fuel. And it's got 360 horsepower and 390 pound-foot torque. So there's no shortage of horsepower combined with fuel economy with today's technology.
And lots of comfort inside.
Beautiful inside, the fit and finish and the soft touch interior, it rivals none in the industry. So, and 75 years of Jeep here, right? So they got it done right. You know, it's best in class four-wheel drive system. That four-wheel drive system's been around forever, and they've just made it better and better and better.
Hey, you like the Lethbridge Bulls?
Lethbridge Bulls are awesome. We love going.
Got a couple of tickets for you. Take your kid.
My boy's gonna be so happy. Thanks, Mark.
In the meantime, let's go find Scott Crighton. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Mark.
From the Kingsman Ale House, right?
Pleased to see you.
Is this the English version of your pubs?
It is.
Do you have to speak English in there?
We get a lot of original English people in here.
Do you?
Quite a few,
Come
yes.
along, come
okay,
this way.
absolutely.
No, I didn't get you the Bugatti you asked me for, but I got you. This is it. This is it. Grand Cherokee. It's 2017. Top of the line, just for you.
Very nice.
Get inside. We'll talk.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
All right. We are rolling. Okay, turn this on. It goes there.
So where did you pick up this vehicle?
This is from Northside Dodge.
Very nice.
Northside Lethbridge Dodge. Yeah, it's a nice unit.
I've actually bought a couple of vehicles off them.
Well, not this year.
No, not this one.
No.
You
have?
Yeah, I bought a little Jeep. What the heck is it called? Renegade.
Oh yeah.
Cute little vehicle.
You've been around Lethbridge all your life, right?
Yes,
born and
I'm
raised?
third generation. My grandmother was born here in 1905.
1905. The year Alberta became Alberta.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
True blue.
Wow. So so you've kind of been when did you become an entrepreneur, would you say? When did you say I'm going to get into this thing of business?
You know, I think I always knew. My family's always been in business. My grandfather was in business in the early 1900s. My dad got me working when I was 13 years old.
Alberta Meat Market.
Yeah, and I used to go down there on Sundays and clean up the walls. And I think I kind of always knew, but I think what I really knew is I graduated high school and I got accepted to university, but I thought, going to school is stupid. I'm just going to go start making some money.
Well, we'll quote you on that. Going to school is stupid.
Well, it gets better. I'm going to clarify that in a second here.
Okay.
So I went and worked for my grandfather and my uncle, not my dad.
Yeah.
But my grandfather and my uncle were very good teachers. They scared the crap out of me about the whole working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm going to go to university and make something of myself. So yeah, that's what I did.
So you did go to university?
I did. I graduated.
In what?
Business.
Oh, you did? Yeah. It wasn't.
My degree's in marketing, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it worked out well. And actually, to this day, I still remember some of my profs, my small business prof, Mr. Balderson. And,
was that U of L?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So you went to school here and you stayed here and you brought all your knowledge to Lethbridge.
Yeah, so between my family's experience in small business and education, I think that was the education part was absolutely what I needed.
Yeah, you did. So, okay.
100%. So that's where I'm back.
Okay, education is not stupid.
U of L was awesome. Loved U of L. They did a fantastic job for me.
Yeah. The Alberta meat market, for me growing up, as I remember, and my mom always went every Saturday, but it was, I would have to say, it was kind of an institution in Lethbridge. It was, your go-to place for getting your meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it was like you'd go in there on a Saturday, and it was just nuts how busy it was.
That little meat market, and if I'm not sure all your viewers would know, it was a little house that it couldn't have been more than 800 square feet. And it was converted into a little meat market. And I remember as a kid, I'd go there and there'd be a lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They would have 5 guys working in there, and that little teeny thing, and I don't know how they did it. And people would be lined up waiting for their orders. And kids would get a wiener. You give a kid a wiener at a grocery store now, you'll go to jail.
But what great guys your whole family was. It was Bob and
Ron, my uncle, and
Ron,
Bill was the head, the eldest brother.
Yeah. And they were just like they could throw barbs at you, fool around with you, make
they
you
were
laugh.
good. Yeah, they were really good at joking around.
Yeah.
And quick-witted.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. That just, I don't know how that DNA skipped me, because I have to sit and methodically think of a comeback, and usually everyone's gone by the time I've got my comeback.
Yeah. And usually it's go to hell.
Yeah.
Something witty like that.
Right back at you.
So what was your first foray into like owning a business?
Well,
on your own.
On my own. Graduated university, me and 3 buddies who used to hang out at the Duke of Wellington, that comes into play later.
Yeah.
We decided to start a painting company.
Ooh.
So we probably had $100 each, and I'm not even kidding with that number. And the government had a $2,000 grant.
Oh, right.
Which you had to pay back, so I guess it's not technically a grant, it would be a loan.
Right.
And we bought some used equipment, and we did like college pro painting, and we called ourselves Unicol.
You're college pro painting?
Well, no, I started Unicol, a spin-off from them.
Okay.
And it went so well, we actually paid the government back in 2 months. And they actually sent us a check back saying, this is what you get for paying it back early.
Really?
I know, absolutely incredible. How does that happen?
Wow.
And it was a huge success, and I sold out of that company after 2 years, and I ended up, oddly enough, going back to my family business, to Alberta Meat and Grocery. Yeah, so my parents did a spin-off of the meat market over to the north side. They started, they added groceries to the whole meat market.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And there's a lot of fun stories at both places. The Alberta Meat Market on 6th Avenue.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can tell you so many stories of it. Some of it might be R-rated. And they used to party. They worked hard and they played really hard.
Yeah.
Same with my father at Alberta Meat and Grocery.
Yeah.
They used to have a little drinking room in the back.
What?
I know, shocker. And it wasn't licensed. Anyways, I used to sit and watch, and I would cut meat, and my dad would. Actually, we'd be working really hard at behind the meat market, or behind the meat counter, and somebody would come in, and my dad would go, "Okay, you're finishing up," and he would go and have a beer. I'm like, "Oh crap, I want to get out of here early." And then some more guys would come in, and then they'd go, "Hey Scott, I just get the meat room cleaned up. We need some steaks for this guy." I'm like, "Oh, I just cleaned everything." So, anyways, this went on for years and years, and I'm thinking, okay, I can make money selling beer, I think, rather than cutting these steaks. And I get back there, absolutely. And eventually, I decided, okay, stop giving these beers away in the back. We're going to start a pub. That's where Pops North came from.
Pops North. So you started that?
Yeah. So we cut Alberta Meat and Grocery down in half. It kind of actually stems from Ralphie Klein's days too. Our store was too big to get protected from the electrical rates, and when he privatized, we decided the only way to salvage the company was to cut it in half, and that's when the pub came in.
Right. I remember as a young kid in my 20s, I thought owning a pub would be the greatest thing in the world. And then you start to realize, well, there's a lot of expenses, and you got to spend a lot of time there, and it's not the most glamorous life in the world.
It's not.
But
you know what? If you treat it like a glamorous life, you won't be in business for much longer than a couple years. It is truly a business, and it needs to be run like a business. And I think that's where the university part came into play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can't always. You're not there all the time at all of these pubs, right? That's where the whole delegation thing comes in, right?
I've got amazing managers, and
that's so important.
Yeah, my manager at Pops North, 17 years ago, is still with me. Wow. And she is now part of the companies.
Yeah.
And she helps me out, and without people like that, I wouldn't have all these pubs.
Is that the number one trick to this whole thing? Is get the right people, or what's the combination?
All about the human factor, absolutely. 100%. You got to have really good people, and I am really super lucky. I really am with the people I've got.
Yeah. And this place, like the whole idea of a brand new pub, with a with a brewery.
Yeah, so this
How
is
cool is-
okay.
has
So
that-
this is super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this might be a little about that thing doing it not just for business, because it's super cool.
Yeah. You
Which
own
I
a
said
brewery.
I'm not supposed to do. But this is just such a fun project. When we first started it, it was just so much fun. And my lovely wife actually allowed me to do it and let me have all the time I needed to do it. And
this has become what it has.
yes, absolutely.
Should we go in?
Yes,
Let's
absolutely.
do this.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah, do this. So here we are back in Cooley Brew, and I think this is I had this the last time here. Sheep dance.
Yes, goat dance.
Goat dance. Goat dance.
You bet,
Yeah.
yes.
Any difference between the sheep and the goat?
It depends if you have rubber boots or not.
And what have you got there? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. What do you got there?
I've got the IPA. So this
IPA,
is
okay.
Hoodoo hops. It's a very hoppy beer. It's you got to really like the bitterness of it.
Right.
And it's something that grows on you over time. So when I first started this project, I thought IPAs were the most disgusting beers you could possibly drink. And now I just crave IPAs. And I've been drinking IPAs. I've been doing a lot of traveling, checking out other breweries and stuff. And I've been drinking IPAs up and down the U.S. coast. And
Like, are craft beers sort of, I mean, is it sort of the way of the future of beers? I mean, you got your big Anheuser-Busch's and Labatt's and Molson's and all that, but all of these craft beer companies that are popping up, is that kind of the thing now?
it absolutely is.
Is that right?
I go down to the States, and of course they're way ahead of us. They're decades ahead of us when it comes to certain things. And back in Prohibition days, when they put Prohibition in, prior to that, there was more breweries per capita in the United States than there are right now.
Really? Wow.
Prohibition came in, released, and the big boys all took over, got control, and now it's reverting back because people in general, Budweiser's great. I'm not saying that's bad. Canadian is great. Got to have a Canadian, especially on July 1st. Mm-hmm. But there's so many flavors that you can explore, and every brewer has his own style, and each place has its own water that actually changes the taste.
Really?
And Alberta is known worldwide as the best place to get malt barley.
Really?
So when I go to a tour in Florida, we get our malt from Alberta.
Really?
That's the only place that when you ask them, you go into a brewery and you talk to the brewer, they know where Alberta is.
Wow.
Nobody else does in the United States.
Yeah, except the
But if you're a
brewer.
brewer, you know exactly where it is. Yeah, absolutely bar none. We're right in the belt of the best product. And unfortunately, due to old regime, so to speak, and tax structure and everything else here, nobody's putting breweries here.
Interesting. So tell me, if you were at your age now during Prohibition times,
Really old, yeah.
would you have been a bootlegger? Would you have figured
Absolutely.
Out? Yeah, sorry. Not a chance in hell I wouldn't be.
I didn't have to think about that. I just wouldn't have toted a gun. I would have been more careful.
Was there any thought in the historical significance of a brewery in Lethbridge that made you want to have a brewery again in Lethbridge when you got into this business?
Absolutely. So Lethbridge is well renowned from the Sick Brewery.
Yeah.
And that started at the turn of the last century.
Yeah.
And it became very, very famous. The Sick family, obviously Fritz Sick Center, there's some other Sick stuff here.
Yeah.
So history was pretty deep here with the brewery industry, as well as in the old days, everybody worked at the brewery.
Yeah.
Everybody knew exactly what. If you thought of Lethbridge, you thought of two things: the brewery and the high level bridge.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, back then I wasn't drinking, but
or so you're saying.
So of course, Molson's took them over. They consolidated. In fact, anyways, they closed it due to trying to keep their numbers where they need to be so you can compete with the United States, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
There's good reasons for what they do. So fortunately, the craft beer industry comes back, and we wanted to bring it back to Lethbridge. And we actually did a Pilsner to a true Pilsner style, which goes to Germany, not the Lethbridge style, which may or may not have been the right thing to do, but we want to be true to the Pilsner.
Right.
But we also wanted to relate it to Lethbridge because that's what it was known for. They used to brew lots of beers. Actually, you'd be surprised how many beers they used to brew here. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Anyways, so we made the beer, and we talked to Molson's because we didn't want to overlap any copyrights. And they gave us a close name. So ours is called the House of Pilsner.
Oh.
Theirs was called the House of Lethbridge.
Oh.
And so we ran it by them, and they says, we're okay with it.
Yeah.
They actually don't use that label anymore. It's just called, I can't remember what it's called now. It just says Pilsner on it, but I don't know if it says House of,
I don't know, yeah.
But, so ours is House of Lethbridge.
Cool.
Yeah.
But very nice.
House of Pilsner.
Sorry, House of,
I'll go backwards.
So that's very cool. Now, so here you've got your own brewery, right? This is where you brew your stuff right here?
Yes.
And you've got a real passionate brewmaster, which again, getting the people to do it. So tell us about that guy.
Absolutely. So when we first started the brewery, we're very weak on the brewing knowledge. I know how to brew beer in a garage, but that's not going to carry me very far.
Yeah.
So we talked to a company, DME out of Nova Scotia. They helped us with all the equipment. Just about everything in here is either Canadian or local. It's amazing how we managed to do that. So we did everything we could to try and support.
Was that important? That was important.
Very
to you?
important.
Okay.
All of our judgments were based on that. Even when it came to the construction companies, we had companies from. I'm skewing off of what you asked me, but we had construction companies bid on it from other cities, and they actually were lower. But we said we cannot do this. Our whole theme is as local as possible.
Good for you.
Anyways, going back to the brewer. So this company worked with this gentleman named Badger Kolish, out of Wisconsin. This guy lives, breathes beer. That's all he does. If you asked him about Blue Jays, he would talk birds. He doesn't know what sports are. If you ask him about anything else, he doesn't know. But if you talk beer, he knows everything.
Wow.
So we got him in here, and he started talking about some of his award-winning beers, and he would start talking about his yeast strains. And you need your yeast to grow your beer and so on and so forth. So it's very important. And it's a single-celled organism. You listen to him, and when he starts talking about some of the specific strains he's made, he tears up. Like that's the passion he has. It's absolutely incredible.
Well, my wife tears up when she talks about yeast infections. But I think that's a different story.
I hope so.
Well, moving on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's very cool. I mean, and again, to have that guy on your team,
absolutely,
that means the world to a business.
It was super important. And going back to the local thing, we couldn't, because Alberta's been so absent from craft breweries, there was really next to no local talent here. But we got lucky. So a gentleman from Edmonton had relocated to Lethbridge. His wife was a teacher, still is, and his name's Sean Cormican.
Sean Cormican, great, the Irish fella.
Perfect, exactly.
Perfect, yeah, that's fantastic.
So he came down and he actually applied for the job. So he worked under Badger for the last 2 years, and now he's our current headmaster. And he's incredible. In fact, the one you're making, that's his beer.
Well, and the thing about when you start a brewery, you can't say, okay, the place is open, we'll start serving beer next Tuesday. You got to really let it.
I wish it worked that way.
Yeah. Just like how long between building the brewery and when you actually were able to serve your first beer did it take?
So oddly enough, we thought it would take about 2 years, and it's taken 4.
4 years.
4 years. So
you've been on the site for 4 years now?
No.
Or no?
Putting it together from the day we decided, hey, we're going to make this happen.
Right.
And at the time, I had a couple different partners who were also involved. Deb Powell, who's still involved, and another gentleman who this just wasn't his thing, so he had backed off. And we continued to move forward, and hurdle after hurdle, government hurdle, and we still have hurdles in front of us, quite honestly.
Really?
It's a whole long story if I could touch base on that. But anyways, so 4 years ago we started that, and we got our money together, because every investor in here is also local. That was important to us. We had options to put into Toronto, into some investment funds and so forth, but we wanted local people, because local people come and drink it, so it was important. So every investor is local. And we continue to go on, and then we'd get a little shot back, and of course, you set a budget, but a budget sometimes means, hey, we're going to spend a lot more than a budget, and we did. But look at the facilities, it's amazing. Anyways, so year 3, construction starts, well, actually probably year 2.5, construction starts. We opened the restaurant side because it was important that we can get that going. We can get that going pretty fast. So we got that open January of last year in 2016. And we got the beer rolling June-ish of last year, packaging August of last year, so cans and so forth. And since then, we've been slowly infiltrating the market.
Now, I mean, did you have to sort of say, here's our beer, and have customers say, eh, and then, you have to kind of experiment and make sure that it's the right beer, or like you have to say, this one didn't work, or this one does work, it's a winner. I imagine it's kind of a hit and miss thing.
Well, there is to some degree. Fortunately, we have the Badger, right, who has brewed beers.
Oh, sure.
And every batch he has made has been 100% hit.
Good.
Nailed it every single time.
Great.
But that being said, we do, and with Sean, we're going to try some real fun stuff. So we have 2 breweries back there, which I haven't really mentioned. So we have a big 30 hex system, or 35 hex system. Then we have a little 7-barrel system, and it's a playhouse system. So we can literally make little batches. So we can have some fun. So we can try, we can make cactus beer. Last year we made testicle beer. I can say that, right?
Sure.
It was a testicle festival. It's the calves, right? So for calving season and so forth, it's a tradition in the ranching history.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
We did it into beer, and so we.
How was it? Real ballsy.
It was very ballsy. It was a little meaty for me.
So that's fun. I mean, it's fun to be able to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you can experiment with it. Maybe you never know when you're going to get the next big thing, the next Coors Light or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So this is when you look back on this getting into the brewery, what are you thinking? A good idea?
Every month, if you'd have asked me in the last 3 years, 3.5 years, 1 month I'm like, this is the best. I love this project. Let's keep going forward. Then we'd hit a hurdle. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And so it really was. It was a roller coaster of emotions. Oh, we need more money now. Oh, we're over budget. Oh, the government says we can't do this.
What about that government? How do you deal with that government stuff?
Well, it's amazing because I don't know where the stop hits, because every time I talk to an agent, for the most part, both federal and provincial, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They want us to succeed. They want to hold my hand and carry me through. But even they have hurdles.
Yeah.
So I don't know who at what point set up all these little blockades, but everybody wants us to succeed. The government wants us to succeed, but someone's got to tear down all these barriers.
Yeah.
And I guess we're dealing in a controlled drug, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the barriers are there. They are coming down. I know a lot of the provinces have torn a ton down. We're tearing some down. There's a lot of reviews, a few more to be tearing down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but when we started the project, I said, I want to be able to serve my beer in all my pubs.
Yeah.
I've got 6 other locations beside this. The government says, well, the law says you can't right now. That's old prohibition law, but it's going to change. I said, no problem, you'll be fine. Keep going.
Yeah.
So we started building, and laws still want to change. When's this law going to change? Well, Jim Prentice stepped down, the government's changed, so now it's going to a vote, and Alison Redford, am I going back too far? I don't know if I have my orders right. She's in the middle of some issues, so she can't take it to legislature, and then the Conservatives get their butts handed to them, and then the new government has to be re-educated on everything, so it's just struggle after struggle after struggle. So oddly enough, to this day, I cannot serve my beer in my locations. I can serve this beer in any other restaurant, any liquor store in the province, any pub, except for my 6.
That is the most bizarre rule I've ever heard.
They agree, but I just can't get them to stamp it.
Wow.
The law's actually written up to be changed. It's all, the words are there. It's been there for 2 years. They just haven't stamped it.
That must pull some of your hair out.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm 28.
Holy cow. Frustration like that. Wow. Yes. Maybe just do it anyway. Don't tell anyone.
Well, I actually, believe me, I've thought of that. I've thought of doing that, but I think if it was just me, I might take the risk.
Yeah.
But I have other people's money involved.
Yeah.
I sure don't want to screw with other people's money.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
I mean, you talk about how many businesses that you own and how many people you employ. You're a very important part of this community. You bring people their wages.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I mean, call me important, but
you're kind of important.
I don't do it to become important. I do it because I enjoy it, and I do have amazing. I think I mentioned that earlier. I have amazing managers at all my locations. I have staff that have been with me since the beginning. Pops North, Ruth Wilson. She's been with me since 17 years.
Wow.
And she's also now involved in a lot of my companies. So I don't own any of them myself. I've always brought investors in. I thought it was always important.
Yeah. Is that something you learned at the U of L?
Actually, it is. Actually, the U of L, West Balderson and small business taught me a lot. Oddly enough, Dr. Abel at the University of Lethbridge taught economics. Yeah. And oddly enough, I learned a ton in economics.
That's great.
And it does carry through. And then combine that with the family. So my family's been in small business since the turn of the last century.
Yeah. That's unreal.
So the two combined, I think, has been really good. And that 190 staff that I have, I wouldn't be where I am without them.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's now, what about are you strictly all in the pub business?
Yes.
And
no. I have been able to branch into some properties and so forth.
Okay, but primarily it's the pub business
that's what drives me.
Yeah.
And opening them and starting them and getting them over that hump, that's the drive for me.
Yeah.
Running them, that's where the managers come in.
Right.
I like doing that, and I like trying to make sure that they do well, and I enjoy that I have staff that work with me and then go on and start their own businesses. I have staff that are my competition now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have no issues with that at all. One, it makes me better.
Yeah.
And two, I help somebody move up another notch.
Yeah.
I have no issues with that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Except that he's doing better than me.
No,
I'm kidding. But I have a staff member right now. We're working together to start up a business. So, and it looks like he got a green light from the bank, and we're throwing some money in to help him out, and he'll be employing some more people as well.
Let me be the Debbie Downer side of it. When you're talking about pubs, you're talking about alcohol, you're talking about people who ultimately you will have a portion of the population that will abuse alcohol.
Yes.
Is that where do you come out on that side of it, where you've got somebody who's coming into your pub and is a great customer, fantastic, but he's drinking his life savings away?
That you're not a Debbie Downer, actually, because that is a very valid statement. And we talk with our managers, and the government is very well aware of it. And they actually give training courses. They have amazing training courses
I
for
think
the whole industry.
That's very important, isn't it?
And I think a social environment such as pubs are extremely important to a society in general. It allows us to vent. It allows us to let our hair down after hard days of work. Hard day of work. And
the Beatles, Hard Day's Night. Anyway,
but going to your part where it gets abused, it does get abused.
Yeah.
And you cut people off. You quite honestly, I should be hiring psychologists to be my bartenders, because they do. They counsel people all the time. I think there's huge value in what we do. And for sure, if it's run incorrectly and properly, and I'm not saying I do it perfectly, but I think we do it pretty well.
Yeah.
I think we actually offer service to the city.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it's you can't moderate. You can't moderate. I've forgotten the word I'm looking for. Values.
Absolutely, you can't. And you know what? And we can do everything we can to stop. But if somebody's having, so I'll give you an example. We had a customer come in, and you have to use a little common sense as well.
Sure.
So he was drinking hard. He was drinking tequila. So my manager, Ruth, says, you should go talk to him. Something's not right there. I'm gonna have to cut him off. So I went over and I sat and chatted with him. His daughter just passed away.
Oh, yeah.
So I sat with him, drank with him.
Yeah.
Called it a day. I let him go over the edge.
Right.
Not to the point where his health was in danger, but I let him go.
Right.
And then we looked after him, made sure he got home and everything,
Right.
and made sure he was safe.
Yeah.
But you got to use common sense with certain things. But if that guy was coming in every day doing that, that's another story.
And you've got to be fairly conscious about drinking and driving at these times too.
Oh, very much. I'm looking forward to those self-driving cars. I'm going to have one parked in front of every pub.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So are you a happy guy right now in Lethbridge? Is this what's Lethbridge mean to you?
I would never leave Lethbridge.
Yeah.
Love Lethbridge.
Yeah.
When I was a teen, I wanted to go to Calgary, Vancouver, Toronto.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Now I travel lots. I love every city I go to.
Yeah.
But I would not raise my family anywhere else.
Isn't that's amazing? I hear that so many times. Always good to go away, figure out what's out there,
Yep.
but come back and say, Lethbridge, it's pretty good. It's
Yeah,
not bad.
absolutely.
It's not bad.
It's
okay.
You know where I learned a lot of things? After I graduated, in the middle of university, 2 years of education, after the arts and science, I'm thinking, I need a break.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a backpack and I backpacked around Europe for 6 months.
Very
I
good.
went to Africa, saw East Berlin, got trapped in East Berlin, wrote a letter to my parents, if you get this, help.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a whole long story.
Yeah.
But I saw so much and learned so much.
Yeah.
Almost that whole 4 years of university, I came back and obviously picked it up when the faculty management graduated, but that whole 4 years of university, I think I learned maybe more in a life sense in that 6 months.
It means a lot. I've told this story many times before too. I got burnt out being in radio for it was only 4 years, but I said, I said I can't do this anymore, and I quit. I just quit, and I went and I traveled to Australia. I went to Australia. I said, as soon as I land in Australia, there's going to be a guy there that says, "Come on down here, Mike. This is your next career." And he didn't show up, but I traveled around Australia and New Zealand and Fiji and Hawaii.
That's awesome.
And it was great. Then, but towards 6 months, 7 months passes, and you say, you know what? I kind of miss what I was doing back in Lethbridge. But you need to go away and figure that out.
You do, unfortunately. You do have to leave to figure it out.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's a great experience, a great adventure that you can take.
Absolutely.
But then come back and realize where you got to go, and so you're moving on. So what's next online? Like pub number? What do you got? 7 pubs now?
If you count this one, I have 7.
7 pubs. Where else have you got? You got Mojo's.
So yeah, we have Mojo's. We
Yep.
have 3 pubs in Lethbridge.
Wow, isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Which one of them is the old Duke of Wellington, which
Right.
is where I used to study. And we used to have study groups there. It was awesome. And I remember saying to our group, I go, I'm going to own this pub someday. In drunken stupor. when I bought it,
Yeah.
or when I was finally got the chance to buy it, I actually had to call one of my buddies. Says, you know, you have a chance. Do you want to get in it? So he's investing in it with me too.
Good.
So that's fun. So of course we changed the name, but nonetheless. So yeah, we have 3 pops in Lethbridge. We have 1 pops in Calgary, and that's been an interesting roller coaster as well.
Yeah, is that wise to move into another city?
Well, it was a test for us. I wanted to see, because here I could be at any pub in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
If there's an emergency, I'm there.
Yeah.
I am not in Calgary. So this was a test to see how well we can do at distance.
Right.
And it was a hit until Calgary went boom.
Oh, yeah.
We followed suit.
Yeah.
Sales are down. It's fine. It's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And we'll, as soon as the economy starts rolling again. And quite honestly, that's where we'll continue on actually in Calgary.
Tell us about the economics of a pub. How sustainable is it right now? And I hate to bring this up to you. I know it's a controversial thing, but minimum wage. Minimum wage.
This is actually goes to my economics part.
Yeah, because that's going to be a real challenge for not only you, but every restaurant in this town. The minimum wage, because was it 15?
It will be 15.
15 bucks. So that's going to, it's going to be tough, right?
It is.
I mean, great for the
tread on this very carefully.
Yeah,
and the only reason I say that is because my staff, oddly enough, at minimum wage, at the old minimum wage, do very well.
Right.
They do none of them are starving.
Yeah.
They all have beautiful cars. And this is where I have to be cautious, but they get gratuities.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And every level of government actually recognizes gratuities. The feds make you pay tax on gratuities. Alberta labor standards, if you dismiss somebody, you have to also compensate them for gratuities.
Yeah.
However, Alberta Labor has now changed it where they say the service industry, we don't know about tips. You have to pay them the same as everybody else. We don't recognize tip as a wage anymore. Alberta Labor Standards does, but our department does not, which I find a little bit interesting. Anyways, in our industry, that's over the last 2 years has been close to 40% increase in wage costs.
Right. That's
the restaurant industry, as a general rule, bottom line after everything is done is 5%.
right.
People don't know how tiny it is. They see you pay for $5 for a beer and they're like, oh, I can go to the grocery store or the liquor store and get that for $2. But the overhead is incredible. 30% of our every dollar spent goes to labor.
Right.
And that creeps up. And when you no longer can make money, you can't expand. You can't employ more people. You can't go to the bank and say, hey, I want to open another restaurant, but I'm not going to make any money. They won't loan you any money. You have to show a bottom line, period. Your investors have to see a bottom line. So if you can't put that all together, that kills it. And quite honestly, I see restaurants disappearing in Lethbridge. I see them disappearing in Calgary. And it worries me a little bit because absolutely, do people deserve to make a living wage? At a certain point they do. But when you're Johnny at a high school just trying to make enough money to pay for your drinks at the bar that night, you don't need a living wage.
Right.
You need experience. And if these
Which
guys
is
are
what
not
you went
hired-
through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to take the bus and when I was 13 years old and clean the meat room and I was paid $2 an hour.
Yeah.
And I used to get my paycheck and I'd take 2 20s and then put a bunch of $1 bills in it. I put it together so I thought I was rich. But yeah, it's very scary. What scares me is, oddly enough, the current government, I know what they're trying to do and they have good intentions, bar none. But it scares me that their good intentions are backfiring substantially. Youth unemployment, I'm preaching and I don't mean to, but youth unemployment, since they've started the minimum wage growth, has almost doubled. Yeah. Kids can't get jobs, and that's who we employ. We employ people that are 18 to 25-ish, and we're not expanding.
Yeah.
I go to a couple I belong to a couple restaurant associations, and there's at least 52 restaurants that have been kiboshed because of the minimum wage thing.
Yeah.
These are people that could have had jobs. People that potentially will get experience and move on to start their own restaurant. Unfortunately, that's all gone.
So this is this is kind of a passion for you right now.
It's a little bit passionate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, which is what's going to happen? When it comes in? What's going to happen? Like, are you going to maintain your pubs, or what's going to happen? What do you?
Well, I think we'll be fine. Unfortunately, what I think who will really be hurt is the mom and pops. Mm-hmm. They don't like. I can have one pub sink a little bit, and the other ones will help out. Yeah. If you're not a mom and pop, if you're just a mom and pop, you don't have any support, and you can't go to the bank now. They're not going to give you any money. Yeah. If you can't show them a bottom line, they're not going to give you any money. It's a bad turn of events. While the government thinks they're helping people, they're hurting a lot of people. Yeah. People are going to lose their houses, and people who own businesses lose their business. They don't get EI. Yeah. They don't have a fallback. Yeah. And they've just risked everything. So I worry, and quite honestly, since the wages and everything have started, I haven't expanded. Yeah. I was going at a pace of one a year. and I've stopped.
Right.
And unfortunately, so is most people in our industry. Anything that was started when it started, they continued on, but most projects were stopped.
Can you see a positive side of all of that, other than, I guess, the employee that gets that minimum wage?
There is a positive side. If the really good operators will pay attention, they'll do everything they can, and they will survive, and it'll make them better operators. And I do believe if we get to $15, at some point everybody will catch up to us, and we'll be leveled back out again, and it will go. It's just we're going to go through a very hard time for a while.
Yeah.
You won't see a lot of growth in our industry, and we won't employ a whole lot of people for the next little while, but it will come back.
And you're going to see someone who wants to go out for lunch is not going to pay anything less than probably $30 for a meal, right?
Sadly enough.
Yeah.
And then every time we give an employee a raise,
that's
in order to keep that little black on the bottom, you have to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So if there is a word of advice that you would give to potential entrepreneurs who want to open a business like you or go the path that you want to go on, what would you say to someone 21 years old who's got an idea, who's got a plan, who's got a vision? I can do this. And
I think if you have a vision,
easy down. Take it
no,
easy.
actually, I wouldn't. Absolutely not. I would still encourage. Even today, if Johnny wanted to go into my industry, I would do everything I could to support it. I think that is the backbone of our country. I think starting little businesses are awesome.
Yeah.
I think anytime the government, anybody can encourage someone to start their own business with a whole lot of guidance. You don't just open the doors and, hey, I'm in business. It doesn't work that easily. But you have to also know you are in business 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You have worries. Are you going to make your bank payment? Are you going to make payroll? Are you going to survive? Is someone going to come in the door tomorrow? So you have to know all the worries, but the benefits are worth it. And you know what? You get to drive your own future. Someone's not telling you how to drive your future. You're in the steering wheel. And if that's your if you're that kind of person, that's the only route.
I mean, and that must be what drives you, that you are the guy, you're the one in charge. You are on the steering wheel, and you're saying, this is how we're going to go.
Yeah, if I crash that car, it's my fault.
Yeah, and you accept that. And
absolutely.
And not everyone can accept that.
Correct.
Which is why they say, I'll just go and get minimum wage over at your place.
Yeah, well, and you know what? And if they keep driving wages up, I'm going to actually quit that. And I'm going to actually get the passenger seat.
That's right.
Then I have no worries.
Yeah.
I just work hard and I'll get paid every 2 weeks.
Right.
That's great.
So you got some big plans for some of your pubs in the future?
Yeah, actually, we're going to Mojo's, 10 years old.
10 years old, unbelievable. Good for you.
And my standard is to try and do a reno approximately every 7 years. So we're 3 years behind, but that's because I'm focused on a couple other little things. But so we're going to do a really cool theme there. It is absolutely brand new for Lethbridge. It's not been seen here. I've seen it, actually I saw it in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
It's called Steampunk. And
Steampunk.
It's a super cool theme. So it's like the turn of the century Victorian, how they saw the future.
Yep.
So it's a lot of old stuff with steam engines, wheels, cogs, et cetera, et cetera. So the theme and the look and the feel is going to be very warm, comfortable. The kind of place where we don't care about table turnover. We want you to go in there at 10 in the morning and hang out all day.
Really?
We don't want you to go. Stay, have fun, enjoy, relax.
Cool.
Get it off your back. And then we're going to have 56 beers. And I wonder if I'm supposed to be telling people this.
Sure, do it.
It was going to be a secret. No, it's not. It's good. Anyways, so we're really going to go heavily because I keep seeing this everywhere. People want to go for an experience. A Budweiser is nice to socialize with, and I'm not saying anything bad about Budweiser. But if you go and you can try a whole bunch of different beers and you can chat about it and you can tell your friend, oh, this is an IPA, it's pretty bitter, but I like the other IPA, it's made in Washington State and this one's made in Lethbridge, and it brings a little more conversation to the table.
Sure.
So I'm really excited about it. It'll be pretty cool.
The future looks great.
It does,
All
absolutely.
Right. And go dance with a goat.
Yes, there you go.
Thank
Cheers.
you, Scott. Great stuff.
You.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it,
Cheers.
Mark.